This is a short video intended to help you get started printing with your Fablicator FM1 3D printer. I strongly recommend that you watch our other 3 videos covering the disable switches, the Fablicator program, and how to use the KissSlicer program in combination with this video in order to cover all the basics of using your printer. In this video, I'll be taking you through the full process of preparing for a print. Feel free to follow along on your own FM1 and then print the G-code file that we'll create in this video. To get started, I'm going to double-click on this folder that comes preloaded on the desktop of your FM1 titled Sample STL Files. Then I'll go into the Artistic Samples folder and choose an STL file. When you double-click on any STL file, it will open automatically in the KissSlicer program. Before we alter anything, I'm going to recommend that you change your settings level to beginner in the KissSlicer program. This way you can avoid accidentally changing a value that will impact future prints, as KissSlicer does save any values changed even when the program is exited and then opened again. I also wanted to mention now that the only tabs you will generally need to use in KissSlicer are the Style, Support, and Printer tabs. The Material G-code, Printer G-code, and Miscellaneous tabs can be ignored for our purposes, and the settings contained under the Material tab change automatically with the choice of filament that you make. The first of the 3 settings that I will change is the filament type. To find it, come to the Printer tab, then to the Extruder tab within there. Change both of these drop-down menus to the filament type that you will be using, which in our case now is PLA. It is very important to make sure that this is set correctly in KissSlicer. Once a G-code file has been created, it can only be printed with the filament type chosen here. The STL would have to be sliced again with this setting changed in order to print this design with a different filament. Next, I'll go to the Style tab in order to choose the other 2 settings for my STL. Using this drop-down menu, I'll choose the Layer Thickness and Infill settings, which in this case will be Coarse and Medium. Now I'll create a G-code file by going up to the right-hand corner and clicking Slice. On the left side panel of the window that appears, I'll choose the desktop as the location for the file. I'll also change the name of the G-code file so that it contains the settings that I chose for it, so it's clear to anyone who sees the file how it needs to be printed. I'll leave Octopus and add PLA, Coarse, Medium to the title. And now I'll hit Save. After KissSlicer finishes slicing the STL file, a G-code file is created wherever you specified. The time that this print will take is displayed on the right side of KissSlicer in this box. To get started printing, I'll first have to apply the primer to the bed. This allows your part to stick to the bed as it prints. Primer is created by mixing acetone with a small bag of ABS pellets in this small dropper bottle. The dropper bottle and ABS pellets can be found in your starter kit. If you cannot find the bag of pellets, contact us to get more. Also, a new bag of pellets will come with every spool of filament purchased from us. Acetone can be purchased at any hardware store. Pure acetone must be used for this without additional ingredients. Once the pellets and the acetone are mixed, you will have to wait at least a few hours before using it, but preferably you should wait overnight. Instructions can be found in your user manual. When applying primer to the bed, you will want to be very careful not to get any on the computer below. Acetone is very strong and will leave permanent marks. Apply a small pool of primer and use a paper towel to spread it across the entire bed. This will have to be done between every print on your FM1. The same paper towel can be used until it is completely saturated with primer. Next, I'll install the filament to the printer. Assuming that another filament isn't already installed into the nozzle, I'll use the E-disable switch to disable the filament driver. Then I'll push the PLA filament down into the nozzle. Now I'll turn the E-disable switch back off. If another spool of filament is already installed in the printer, you will have to heat the nozzle to full temperature by hitting Set in the Fabricator program. When it is finished heating, hit Reverse to back the filament out of the nozzle. Once the filament is free from the nozzle, remove the spool and place your new spool on the holder. Now push your new filament down to where it meets the metal piece above the nozzle, which is called the filament driver, and push the button labeled Extrude in the Fabricator program to extrude the filament down through the nozzle. Once it has finished extruding, you can press off to shut off the heat to the nozzle. I'll now double-click on the G-code file created by KissSlicer on the desktop in order to open it in the Fabricator program. Before I start the print, I want to cover several common errors within the program. The first one is the changing of settings. These three areas above the axis commands representing each of the axes of the printer should not be changed. Also, this drop-down menu in the top left-hand corner containing the COM port should never be changed, as it could cause your printer to stop functioning. Lastly, none of the other settings contained under the options should ever be changed on your FM1. These values are set specifically by us. Another common error is trying to change temperatures for a print within the Fabricator program. This cannot be done. Each G-code file contains the information that will be read by the Fabricator program in order to complete a print. This includes the temperatures for a print. So even if the bed or nozzle temperatures are changed here in the Fabricator program, the Fabricator will still print at the temperatures designated by the KissSlicer program when the G-code file was created. This is why a new G-code file needs to be created using KissSlicer when printing the same design with a different filament type. I'll now hit Print in the Fabricator program, and the print will begin. As the print moves forward, a green bar will climb up the right side of the window in the center of the program. This is the progress bar, which tracks the completion of your print. It is based only on height and not the actual time your print will take. So a print that gets thinner at the top will cause the progress bar to move much quicker as it climbs. In correlation with the progress bar, there is a percentage that appears in this area across the bottom of the program. This is also based on height and directly relates to the progress bar. If you ever have an issue while a print is in progress that could potentially cause damage to your printer, for example if the nozzle has been driven into the bed, or if filament is not sticking to the bed and begins to build up around the nozzle, use the XYZ disable switch to freeze the axes of your printer. Next, hit the button labeled Reset in the Phablicator program to stop the print completely. Exiting the Phablicator program will also stop the print. Home the axes of the printer and determine what caused your issue. Make sure the filament you are using matches the filament type intended for the G-code file. Also make sure nothing has come between the up and down Z axis and the top of the printer. Then clear any printed material off the bed and reapply primer before printing again. When your print is complete, the X and Z axes will home, with the Y axis coming to the front of the printer for you to retrieve your print. Allow the bed to cool for a minimum of 10 minutes before removing your part. This allows for the plastic to release from the glass as it cools and prevents the possibility of any damage. Once your part is removed, apply a fresh coat of primer to the bed and you are ready to start printing again. Please contact us if you have any questions at all about the information in this video, or if you have any other questions about your Phablicator. Also check out our other videos for more information on using your printer. Thanks for watching.